PLC Network here with another unboxing. This time another 3D printer. And this time it's a resin printer from a familiar company called Creality. They are behind, in fact, one of our, a really good video we did was the Ender 5 Pro. It was an upgraded model that they did of the filament printers. It was fantastic. We love it. We still use it today along with a bunch of other ones. But this is a new one, a new addition to the family here, and is a resin printer. This is the Halot-One. I think I got it right. Halot-One. Halot. It is the Halot-One. It is a resin printer. It is an awesome resin printer. Supposedly, we actually haven't used it yet. We're just going off from feedback from others. But it is again resin versus filament. It is a kind of an all-in-one. Lots of assembly required. We'll go over that in a moment. But it is it's an all-in-one unit here with a lid, typical kind of resin printer. It's got a 5-inch monochrome capacitive LCD touchscreen on it. So you can dial everything instead of having to use the dial and whatnot. And I believe it's easier to work with than some of those other, they're like the first generation Creality touchscreens.
Most likely.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
You have an evenly projected UV light. It has a dual cooling and filtering system. And this is going to be for two different things. It's going to be for heat release, getting heat out of there, as well as less odor, the filtration thing. I think it's the carbon filters that are in there that are trying to prevent some of that odor. You might still be getting poisoned, I don't know, but you just don't smell it happening. But you do have that. That's pretty cool. You have the option of Wi-Fi or USB. It's kind of a cool thing. It's kind of like a printer, USB or Wi-Fi. Take your pick. And it supports the Creality Cloud. So you can pull out your Android or iOS phone and access it through there and play around with some stuff. So, and it has two USB ports too, because you can also, old style, old school, put it onto a USB drive and slap it in there and pull it up for the menu. It has a ARM Cortex M4 processor.
Yes.
And that's cool.
That is cool.
That's cool. Print size, 127 by 80 by 160 millimeters. Small, but it's not a bad thing. That's actually quite common with the resin printers. It's not like a lot of these filament printers, they're getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. It's easy to pull that off. Resin, however, it's still kind of a controlled, kind of small little atmosphere that it does all the work in. So it's kind of hard for them to do a bigger one that's affordable, I guess.
You have to think of, you have an entire roll of filament beside you when you're doing FDM printer. You don't have that luxury with these. Like, you don't have a feeding system of like a liter bottle or anything. You have to pour it in the vat and that's all you got, basically. So I think it's also how much actual liquid you have in the vat. I think that's also a limiting factor. So
the print size is small. It's not too small though. It's still big enough for a lot of your small objects for printing, like figures and things like that, and adapters and whatnot. Small little things, rings and anything else that you can fit in that small little place, or plate. But at the same time, it's still a pretty decent amount. I mean, if you think about it, 80 by 127 is your left and right, or front to back, side to side, 160 millimeters in height. That's still a lot to be able to accomplish a lot of things with, especially at a price point that this thing is at. In fact, that's another point. It's $259. That's incredibly affordable. And we were actually talking about this earlier. It's not the only one that's out there that's at this price tag.
Now, there are a couple that I'm pretty sure are at a similar price point, but I'm excited to see this one. This one looks quite interesting.
Well, it's got some good features. Mm-hmm. So it uses its own Creality slicing software. It comes with. It's free. You can use that. It is kind of like using Microsoft Paint to work on a graphic. It's not going to be your best option out there, but it's going to get the job done for basic projects. For anything else, you can use third-party software still. Mm-hmm. And again, you can do wirelessly or just slap in a USB drive. So $259, there's a lot going on here in this little box. So what we're going to get to is we're going to open it up. We're going to start with taking a look at what it looks like, show you a few things. We're going to level it. And we'll go over some more information. But the most importantly, what we're going to cover now is the fact that there's a lot of assembly required. Oh, wait till you see this. All right, so and there it goes.
Like a majestic bird.
Yep. Oh my gosh. Okay, I was lying. There was an exaggeration there. There's actually no assembly required on this thing. It's that was the whole point in saying all-in-one. Maybe you caught that, maybe you didn't. I don't know. But it's an all-in-one unit. Everything's right there. You got lots of foam and stuff going on in here to protect all the pieces and parts, but there's absolutely no assembly whatsoever. You don't have to worry about that.
Nope.
That's cool. I like that. So let's go ahead and remove some of this protective. You got this plastic. We'll leave that plastic on there now. We're going to put fingerprints all over this. You got the barcode here. It's probably to download the software, or the slicing software at least. Looks like it just comes directly up. Shatter, I'm going to break it. There is something in there. You got to figure out how to get to it. There's a little, so there is assembly required. There's assembly, there's one little section here. Whoop-de-doo. Pull that out. So what we're looking at here is your typical 3D printer resin scenario here. You got your vat, you got your
Plate.
fan here, fans in here, you got your power switch back here, and you have a D-plug here, or UPC, however you want to refer to it, as your universal power out here, that same connection as you have on a computer or monitor, or some monitors. You have your touch screen that's right here in the front, and you have your two USBs that are in the front. Now this is weird, they should have put this USB in the back for the connectivity to the computer.
That would make sense, or on the side or something.
Or on the side, yeah, so that's kind of weird. Again, we're not, sorry Creality, we're not picking you apart and destroying you here or anything, it's just a suggestion. That's kind of weird. Put it in the back. This on the front for the USB access for a drive. Yeah, that makes total sense. Perfect. Again, it's Wi-Fi, so you don't even need to use those if you don't want to. But one, again, it's like a printer. Goes straight to your computer if you want to, and or you use that for manual. So what else we have here is we have some of the stuff that comes with it. Let's see what this is. This is a plastic bag. It's a heavy-duty one, so this is going to be a keeper, I'm assuming. This is 3M filters. We have a release film for a 3D printer. And then we have an envelope here. It's sealed. We have film.
Oh, FEP film, okay.
Yeah, some FEP film right here. Or I like to drive him nuts. It's called FEP film. And then we have some documents here. We have a Halot-One Resin 3D printer user manual. That's not really the user manual. That's just it's a little something. Doesn't really tell you anything. Then the 3D printer user manual. So next up, what we have here are funnels. We actually have, what, four funnels here? You have spatula. Now every 3D printer in the world, actually every 3D printer in the world doesn't necessarily come with the spatula. These are these are scrapers. This is to scrape stuff off the build plate with. It's necessary, unless you have a build plate that can get damaged. So that's important. Every 3D printing person, enthusiast should have one of those. And if it doesn't come with one, always make sure you buy a good one. And this one's actually pretty good. I mean, check that out. I mean, the handle's cheap, obviously, but the whole thing, the overall weight of everything, and it's a nice thick sheet of metal. It's a good one.
Comes to a good point, yeah.
Yeah, and then you have this is a makeup brush. If you want to put on makeup while you're printing, that's fine. Put on what is it, blush? No, blush, right? Oh, blush. That's not what this is for, is it?
Nope.
No.
It's actually a brush for touch-ups and cleaning on the prints when you're done printing them.
So we have some Allen keys here, and that's for adjusting some things, and we're going to actually play with these in a moment. And then finally, we have a USB drive. There's probably going to be some stuff on here too.
Oh, yep.
Yeah, there's probably going to be like a manual or something, maybe some test prints if we're lucky.
Yeah.
Maybe. And but they do provide that to you. That's cool. That's always a bonus, and we appreciate that. Thank you, Creality. So what we have here is a menu system. I actually can't see this. I'm going to turn this around. Sorry, viewers. And I'm going to go to Settings. And I'm going to go to Z-axis movement, which is right here on the corner. I'm going to hit that. And then you have auto homing and leveling. I'm going to hit auto homing. Done. It's finished. We got it. All right, it's home. Okay, it does move a little slow. What you're going to do is you're going to go to this bag right here, and you're going to get the Allen key that works with this, or with these screws. So it looks like it's the biggest one. So we're just gonna unloosen these just a little bit. So what we did is we just made it so that's loose. So we're gonna slide that in there. So I'm gonna give it a little more play. Slides right in. Make sure it's nice and on straight. Now it's on. So, but it's loose. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go auto leveling. Which now we gotta go through the waiting process again as it makes its way back down.
So I think you have to put the paper underneath it.
Oh. You probably saw we snuck the piece of paper in there because we almost forgot that. We had a little piece of paper in here. We was sitting here, so we were like, hey, let's just use that. We threw it on there. It just created that layer that you need there. So now it is home. It's there. So what you do now at this point, you're gonna hold on. You're gonna kind of like push down. You're not gonna put a lot of pressure onto it. You're just kind of lightly pushing it down to keep it from sliding around. That's the whole point. And at this point, we are going to tighten it up. It is officially leveled. All right, so we're gonna pop it up now. All you do is hit auto home. Now it's gonna do it. We're not gonna worry about it taking all its time, but right now it's technically leveled. Now, given we do have the protective thing on here still, I mean, that might throw it off just ever so slightly. We might have to do it again, but to give you that idea, that is how you do it. You take a little sheet of paper, you just cut it down to size instead of doing the way we did it. We just that was just kind of a rushed method there. But it works, it shows you exactly how it levels and how easy it is.
Yeah.
It's incredibly easy. That's nice. So again, $259, and we're going to print something on this as well. It'll give you an idea of what the prints look like. Now, it's not as easy, though, as a filament printer, though. When you print something like this, you can't just rip it off the build plate and you're done.
No.
No. What kind of steps are we looking at?
Well, you got to have normally an isopropyl alcohol bath for it, and you also have to cure it in a curing chamber, normally to finish off the
curing process.
Curing process, yes.
Yeah. The curing process is something you don't hear with filament printers. Because filament printers are exactly that. You just break it off the build plate, you're done. Then you got to break the supports off, if you have supports, but that's it. So in this case, you do have supports you can break off. So you bathe it, take the supports off and everything like that. You cure it, and that just helps to guarantee that everything sticks together, all the layers hold. There are some steps involved with the resin printing, and you just saw right there, now since we weren't fast forwarding anything, you saw the actual time it took to get from bottom to top to bottom right there as we were talking. But there are steps, though, involved in this. There is some patience you got to have when printing in resin, definitely. But there are some benefits to using resin as well.
Well, resin actually can print at a higher resolution faster than an FDM printer, and you don't have to switch out nozzles. Like, you can do a 0.5 millimeter layer height quite easily with a resin printer. It just switches the resolution on the LCD that's below it. While an FDM, sometimes to get extremely low layer heights, you would have to change out the nozzle and do a couple things, and it's all around more difficult. But the resolution of this is technically only limited to the actual LCD below it.
So it's user-friendly. It's pretty user-friendly. No nozzles. It just set it and go. Tell it to print. And fill it up with, you gotta,
Right.
You also gotta put this back on. I say we're done, but I mean, you do have to put the little vat thing back on again. Some of the things that you can focus on in printing on this, because you have a small build plate. We mentioned earlier figurines, things like that, little figures. I always wanted to 3D scan myself and have my own action figure. I don't need to sell it. I don't have an ego like that. But it would be kind of, come on, who doesn't want an action figure of themselves? You can do that on this. You don't want one?
No.
No? Oh, I do. I really want one. I want to wear an Iron Man suit and everything, but no. You could do that on here. You could do that on the filament printer as well, but this is going to get some, again, it comes down to quality and how fast it can print compared to a filament printer, as Kiefer here was saying. You can, because it prints in layers. It all prints in layers, but instead of doing lines, it just goes, maybe not that fast, but.
Yeah, it probably takes a while to cure, but it's very fast, actually.
Yeah, and you're not drawing lines to slowly form a layer with all these lines or anything like that as much as a filament printer. So you have speed, you have quality, tiny little details. So this is going to be for that. It's going to be for action figures. It's rings and parts and pieces, adapters and stuff like that are small and tiny and or larger. But you can see here the build plate isn't really that big. So you are limited to that, and it is still noticeably big. So when we were saying 127 by 80, there's 127 left to right, and you have 80 from front to back, and then you have 160 from in terms of height. So that's your limitations. That's enough. You can make a small action figure with that. I mean, because you're looking at the height right there, pretty much. I mean, that's the height of whatever you can print. But for now, what we're going to do is we're going to plug this in. Let's slide that in here. Let's see what it says here. We're going to hit back and back again, and we have a file menu here, and we can see two files in here. All right, so we got V1 and two V1s here. You got the 6Z26 160. That's definitely test prints. What we're going to do is we're going to peel this off, and we're going to put this back on. What we have is we're using here is a beige. It's a beige by Z-Mud. It's Z-Mud. Almost looks like a milkshake. Kind of hungry now. I want a milkshake. So now we have resin in there. I was supposed to be wearing gloves when I did that, huh? Use gloves, kids. Use gloves. So we have the file clicked here. So I click it twice. And we have all of our information here. So really, this is just a test print here that's pretty simple, it looks like. It looks like it's just like a little gear-shaped thing with two little squares there that hopefully you can see there. If not, I'm sorry. How rude of me. But we'll actually turn this a little bit closer so you can see. That way I have to lean forward a little bit more. You can see the bald top of my head. And we're going to hit start. Now, since this is red or orange, this is a filtered box. We don't have to be wearing glasses.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's why this doesn't come with glasses. They really include everything you need for the most part, except for gloves. So if I get poisoned, it's your fault, Creality. Sorry. No hard feelings. Just a few hard feelings in there. But no, they give you everything you need here. Do wear gloves. Definitely wear gloves. Don't do what I did. That was bad. Look, my finger's burning off.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, I didn't need that one anyways. But there you have it. It's starting to print right now, and you'll see the print, floating above our heads, and as well as some other things. And to give you an idea of what to expect and what you can get out of this printer, given that is one out of. I mean, you're limited to your creativity on what you can print with this thing, But it gives you some ideas of what it will look like because we didn't adjust anything. We haven't used any software. We didn't put this in the Creality software. We just said, okay, what's these files on this drive? Let's just hit print, see what happens. So again, $259. It's a great price. But go to plcnetwork.net. We're going to have a whole story about this later on, and we'll tell you what we think about this once we've really given it some time, printed some prints with it, and really gotten used to it. And then you go to the website, find out more information once we've done the full review. Kiefer, the man himself, might even be the author behind this one because he's so good with printers. Go to the website, check it out. We'll make sure to include links on everything in the video, in the review when it publishes, all of that. We'll try to provide you with as many links as possible. This is a new printer, so it is still making its way into the world, and a lot of the retailers don't have it yet. A lot of them do, so we'll try to focus on the ones that do for now. So $259. Go to the website, plcnetwork.net, see what our full review is about this, and then, of course, go to the website, or at least look at the description below for links to find out more. If you liked what you've seen here, comment below and let us know what you think. If you think this is something that deserves to be in your living room, say something. And maybe one day you might have one. Maybe we'll give this away. Who knows? But definitely, say something in the comments. Maybe you even have one of these, or you have the, one similar. There is the Sky version as well, the Halot Sky. So maybe you have one of those. So definitely, let's talk about this in the comments and share your thoughts. And subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe. We always need people following us. That's good. That makes us feel better about ourselves. But definitely subscribe, comment below. As always, we thank you for watching, and we'll catch you next time. Goodbye. If you want to stay on top of all the latest and greatest, or at least the gadgets we cover, remember to subscribe right here. Subscription button. Click it. You're going to want to. There's lots of videos, interviews, previews, all sorts of stuff. Button. Click it.